You are now tuned in to the New Old Heads podcast, brought to you by BringingDownTheBand.com. No Bad Ideas and Coleman Dental. Shout out to Printfinity. I am Major 7th. I make beats and I have the t-shirts to prove it.
Do you?
I do. And in front of me, the maestro of bringing down the band, the one and only Lonegevity.
It's one of those days, ain't it?
Yeah.
Either he just cut his hand or...
No, I just spilled my drink.
Full moon, man.
Just like somebody else.
Super moon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm doing all right.
We're not here for the somebody else part.
Is it
How
the
you
super
doing,
moon?
man?
That was a couple days.
I'm doing fine, man.
You good?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Caddy corner.
My socks are wet, though.
That's all right. You'll be all right.
Psyche.
Should talk about why.
We'll get. Can we get there?
Yeah,
Can I take care of this first,
we'll
please,
get there,
Bradley?
We'll get there.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Caddy corner, rocking the No Bad Ideas gold-plated joint. You know what I'm saying? He's got his earth tones on today. DJ Jay Diff.
Salutations.
What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
You all right?
I'm good. I just have an observation that I made.
Talk to me, man.
So
we're friends.
We are. So you started calling Sean the maestro.
He does a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's
You do
not
a
saying
lot.
anything wrong with that.
He does a
That's-
lot.
That's awesome. And then you call Spoolz what?
We'll get to that. Spoolz?
Yeah.
The incomparable.
And what do you call Jay Moore?
Mr. Wavy light-skinned girls be loving me now.
Got you.
That's a long. That's
Yeah.
really long.
So I'm just
Long.
caddy corner. That's what I've been.
You're not just
became known
No,
as.
you're not just caddy corner. If you notice, I will highlight either something that is involved with your ensemble,
Okay.
or I will give P's to Printfinity. It's one of the two every single time. So I'm really telling people that you fresh to death, low key.
Deaf.
Okay.
Yeah, fresh to death like $1 million.
All right.
Slick Rick.
Yeah. So is that okay, or did you want me to switch it?
I don't know, man.
Because I think Lone told me he wants me to switch T-shirts to prove it. So
Yeah.
I think you need to get rid of that.
maybe people.
What
can-
happens when you don't have the t-shirts to prove it?
We haven't been there yet.
I mean, that's 58 episodes
58,
of,
yeah.
and I've got the T-shirts on right now.
That's how I sound. Okay. Fair enough. Well, leave suggestions. Anybody that follows us. If you want me to change my intro, I will be more than happy to adjust.
My
that.
name is Major 7th, and I stick gum underneath stools.
And I drop whiskey on floor.
There it is. Wet socks. It came out. Damn.
Right on time.
Didn't make it all the way
It's in
around.
the air.
It wasn't going to.
Right on time. Immediately to my left.
I'm not pulling it up.
I
I don't have enough
the
back
incomparable. Excuse me, sir. Can I introduce this
No,
young
you can't.
man,
I'm
please?
having a conversation over here.
I mean, well, y'all go ahead and cook. I'm gonna introduce them to Spoolz.
Oh, okay.
The incomparable DJ Spoolz.
Hello, Michael.
How are you, sir?
Doing pretty awesome. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
I'm glad to hear it.
Glad you got a chance to diss me early in the show today.
I'm glad I also got a chance to whoop your ass in NBA Jam
Hey,
before the show.
He beat the brakes off me in NBA
Yeah.
Jam, and I had noise. I thought it was because my team couldn't shoot, but he just beat the brakes off of me. So I can admit it. I can admit it. And then, as always, we have a
It
special.
was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he was. He beat the brakes off of me. We have a special guest today. He's really not a guest. He is the what we call the fifth member of the New Old Heads. He pinch hits for us.
I'm like Flesh and Bone and Bone Thugs and Harmony. I just kind of show up.
That's such a good, yeah.
You know,
He's like Capadonna.
Yes, there we go.
He is very well received in the clubs of Indianapolis. A lot of wavy, light-skinned girls tend to flock to him.
Once again, I don't know what you're talking about.
He had a conversation with myself and DJ Metronome about his conditioning when it comes to.
First of all, the club was very loud. I think you misinterpreted something he said.
He had a moment where he pretty much told us why he's conditioned.
No,
to,
no. I was telling you about yourself.
Was it me that was conditioned?
I'm not conditioned. Like I said, I swear I love them all.
For anybody that wants to see where I'm coming from, just go to his Instagram page. You'll see comments from me on each and every picture that has him with somebody that is wavy and
these are friends, and these are intelligent, dynamic women who I just happen to be in pictures with, and that's all that is about.
Shout out to all the strong women out there. We are for that, but my stance still remains. Jay Moore is in the building. the golden voice of Indianapolis.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Glad to have you back. As
hey,
always,
man, I'm glad
sir.
to be back. Like I said, I say this every time, and I mean it. I've listened to. We're on episode 58. I've listened to all 57 episodes. It's an honor to be here because I'm a fan of the show and I'm a fan of the preparation and what you guys do to create this, and it's a fantastic platform. So I'm just glad to be back.
Were you a fan of that ass whooping I gave Mike in NBA Jam?
Wow.
I wasn't. You know what? That was something, man.
Wow.
I don't know why I keep bringing that. It doesn't matter.
Oh, I know why.
So
It's
it's
a fantastic album, man. Let me borrow it.
I feel you. Episode 58 is what we'll call it. Now, do we have any suggestions for the number 58? Is there any significance? What are we working with? Did anybody Google anything? Look up anything?
I just got to go. Of course, everybody knows I am a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. 10-2.
I like how you. Okay,
and,
I like that.
Jack Lambert.
Jack Lambert.
What about Von Miller?
I like Von Miller.
So I'm going to point one out.
No.
Super Bowl MVP
That
Von Miller.
That I found
Jack
out.
Lambert, 4 rings.
Wow.
How about Wilbur Marshall, part of the best defense, the 85 Bears, that's ever played in the NFL?
Do you have a Wilbur Marshall jersey?
No.
Or would you buy one?
No.
Maybe.
You would.
Spoolz is a different
I
type
would
of Bears
definitely
fan.
pick up a Jack
You
Lambert jersey if I saw one.
I understand where you're going with that. One would probably be more likely to get a Jack Lambert jersey than a Wilbur Marshall. But Wilbur Marshall was a beast on the 85.
Von Miller is a Super Bowl MVP though.
And
That's
he
true.
carried the entire team.
Yeah.
He literally
did.
won that Super
He did.
Bowl.
That's nice.
Yeah, that's why they're so great now. He's still there.
Here we go.
Okay. All right.
Shout out to
Somehow
my
we're going to end up
shout out to
talking
my
about
man P
Peyton
Money.
Manning. Here we
Shout out
go.
to my man P Money.
No, let's not.
We're not gonna do that though. I'm not here for that.
wanna
I'm not here for that.
Yeah, we're not here for that either.
So are we gonna go with?
No, we're not.
So who are we gonna go with?
Jack
I say
Lambert?
my vote is Von Miller.
I'll go Jack Lambert
Jack
because
Lambert.
honestly, he was a beast, and he did get 4 rings. As much as I, want to say Wilbur Marshall, he's a close second.
We got 2 for Jack Lambert. You look like you don't care. What you got? Don't say.
Jack Lambert's fine.
Jack
There we go.
Lambert.
So you're clearly outvoted.
I know you. Yeah, Jack Lambert.
Yeah.
All right, Jack Lambert episode.
This is my pretty much every week thing when y'all go through the names of people that I don't even know. It's
Okay.
like, I do know who Jack Lambert is though.
We could pick a number 5 and a number 8.
Yeah,
You think that helped Terry?
Jason Kidd and
What do you mean?
Andre Dawson.
Oh Jesus.
No.
Yeah.
Andre
I'm
Dawson's
just-
That's not how it
He's
works.
straight.
Number
Yeah.
58, Jack
He's still
Lambert.
straight no matter how we
Yeah.
change the format.
Maybe we'll have to do that when we get into the hundreds or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Fair enough. So
Terry is going to care even less at that point, I
Man.
think. Yeah.
so we have incorporated something new.
I don't even know how we even got started on that.
What's that?
I don't either.
What's that?
I don't know.
The numbers.
There was
Oh,
some
numbers.
number at some point that we were
It was
like,
some,
oh.
yeah. It took over maybe in the 20s. I'm
I think it was
thinking.
earlier.
Was it early
Yeah.
teens?
36 was definitely the Wu-Tang episode.
Wu-Tang episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had the 38th
38th
Street,
That was-
episode.
yeah.
Anyways.
All right. So we came up with something. There's something new we're going to incorporate. So this bell,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to call this the hashtag fuck shit bell. Right? So
Clearly, we're not going to be on any public radio
yeah,
situation. so
we'll change the
we've
bell.
already started.
Yeah, we'll change the bell's name, when that time comes.
It's possible to change that.
I get
Can we change-
I was
do you-
going to say, I get mildly chided for swearing so much. And we have a
Yeah.
fuck shit
Really?
bell now. Yeah.
Chided?
the irony, right? Yeah, we're gonna go with the fuck shit
You like
bell.
that?
So, if anybody reaches out to ring the fuck shit bell, they have to explain why they're frustrated with whatever somebody said.
All I'm going to say is just mind your arms.
Okay.
Because there are drinks on the table.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
Mike.
hate see
They spill.
see
said,
see.
"Yeah, Mike."
They don't see. They don't see. He's a troll. They don't see. It's all right though. Did you spill one
Ma-
yourself?
Maybe I should screenshot the picture of your face right when that happened.
Don't you have? What's the flavor of this that we're drinking right now? What flavor is this?
I only want to say so much because they are not a sponsor.
See,
Okay.
and this is
If
why.
they're not coming off any money, I
Perhaps,
don't really,
perhaps you. Okay, well we'll just leave
we
that
don't really
alone.
give them any props.
I'm sure
Bong
Lone.
bong.
I'm sure Lone Socks have some of this on it right now. No.
Yeah, let's just
They
leave
do.
it at that.
My-
Oh, yeah.
My no bad idea socks.
Yeah, exactly. No
Shout out to
bad
No Bad
ideas
Ideas.
is a sponsor, so we will shout them
And my
out.
no bad idea shirt has a
Speaking
little
of-
bit on it as well.
We see you.
Till we get a
Lone.
drink sponsor, no shout outs.
What's that?
Speaking of which, new No Bad Ideas hat. Isn't that like a new line for them this winter, or is that something that they've done in the past?
I think this is one of their previous ones.
Okay.
Gold flake joint.
But they got the new knits are out now, and they got some really dope
sharp
knits.
ones.
I
So
do
we're going to
like
be
their knit
showcasing
hats.
their knits probably for the next
Man,
few
we got
months.
a lot of
Yeah,
them.
because winter is here.
Winter
Boy,
is
is it.
here.
I was freezing cold today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Yeah,
No
that
Bad.
wind was whipping.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to No Bad Ideas. They definitely take care of us with that new product.
For sure.
The new merch looks amazing. I'm excited to see, the more that we feature these each episode. They got some dope stuff, man. So shout out to No Bad Ideas. So episode 58. Jay Moore, when you come around, we usually try to, I don't want to say adjust the format, but it's just so dope to have you. We like to pick your brain and see, some of the things that you've been watching or some of the things that have been brought to your attention that we may or may not have discussed before you get here.
Do we do that?
Yeah, I do that. I don't know if y'all do that. I like to pick your brain. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. Me and you talking. I like to pick your brain. I don't know. I don't know what you've been watching.
I don't mind
Sean was
that.
about to
That's
hit
what
the
I'm here
bell
for.
on you.
Terry's arms are folded right now.
He didn't
He's
reach.
not
He didn't reach
happy
for it
with
though.
Nah,
I'm just not accustomed to it yet.
Why would you?
Man,
why
Mike's
would-
going to get this bell a lot.
No, I'm
I
going
think
to
we need
ring
to
the
give
bell.
everybody a bell just in case.
Mike's he's going to hold it just so nobody else can have it.
I'll take that down as a to-do for next week. Bells for everybody.
Yeah.
We'll
So-
buy a fifth one, too.
And this doubles as a bottle opener. So
There's that.
if we ever get a
yeah.
drink sponsor,
and it's Christmas time, so,
So if any of the
Yeah,
fine
it is.
Indiana microbreweries would like to get on board with the new old heads,
Seriously.
yeah, man.
that'd
Shout
actually
out.
be a good look.
that
It
would
would
be.
be look. It would
But
be
until
good
then,
look.
we're not
I'm
mentioning
looking
any
at
of
you.
We like beer.
Hey, until they cut that check.
We
you know what
like
I'm saying?
beer.
We ain't gonna mention no names.
We
But
got some favorites, but we're not going to shout
And
you out.
there are a number, too. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some good breweries in
So-
in Indiana in general.
So politically, Mr. Moore,
Ooh.
what are some of the things that you have been monitoring or that you've been looking at?
Well, I think everyone who's been watching the news,
Shout out to your boy Flynn.
yeah, it looks like somebody's about to snitch, man.
Mm.
I mean, when somebody basically has lied to the FBI
Yes.
and they've basically cut a deal to where they're going to get 0 to 6 months for lying to the FBI.
Yes.
That's somebody getting ready to tell. I've watched enough episodes of the first 48
Okay.
to
Bring
know
him his pack of ports.
that.
Yes.
And when they say 0 to 6 months, that means you're going to get a lot closer to 0, more depending on who you tell on.
Yeah, and
That's
how much information you can
Exactly.
give.
That's a lot of telling.
This is not fake news.
No.
I mean, a lot of people, like to play with that term as far as fake news and this is
It's hilarious.
just no, like ongoing FBI investigations into the dealings of a sitting president and vice president.
Yes.
Let's just talk about that, okay? Because the thing is, Mike Pence had to sign off on a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Facts.
And,
Who's third in line?
Yeah,
I always forget.
Secretary of State, right?
Secretary of State.
Wow.
So when you talk about somebody saying that they have copped a plea, if you will, like I said, lying to the FBI. Let's not.
It's not a good
I don't
look,
think
man.
when I hear people on the news talk about this, I don't think they give it the weight that they should. Because if you lie about, let's just say something that doesn't affect as many people about. Say it's a payola scam. Let's just take it to the world of music because
Right.
we do live in that world.
Yes.
And say it's somebody who winds up because there was a payola scam when I was working in radio.
Oh yeah, it was huge, especially in New York.
In
and,
New
yeah.
York, I remember like somebody was paying some money for get a few extra spins on a J-Lo song and
Sure.
and this is when she's on top of the world. And like I remember, Elliot Spitzer, crazy to bring his name up, considering what he wound up, being involved in. He went through Hot 97 when Hot 97 was the only game in town as far as hip hop. This is way before Power. I think Power was just starting out, but they weren't what they are now.
They've overtaken.
Yeah, so
Everything, yeah.
wound up going through basically the Hot 97 with a fine-tooth comb. And the thing is, if anybody would have got caught up, they were not just going to do a little bit of time.
Right.
It was going to be years in jail. Now, this is lying to the FBI.
Yeah, that's just lying. Just to summarize that, that's just lying. That's just taking money to play a song.
Yeah, I'm talking about taking.
That's it.
You know, taking money to play a song. Somebody could have gone to jail over that.
Yep.
Yes.
We're talking about lying to the FBI about the influence of a foreign power in perhaps the election of a president of the United States. And if you decided, okay, you're going to cop a plea to that, and somebody's going to give you 0 to 6 months, it's about to get real.
Oh yeah.
There are some people who are going down. It may
Way
thing is, it
down.
may not be the president.
Right.
Okay, because there's a chance nobody, his family, is going to go to jail.
Well,
Yeah,
his
man.
son's a direct relation to what's going on, right?
But you know, when
With his son-in-law.
Jared Kushner, I mean, if you know, I don't see how Jared Kushner still has security clearance. I mean, this is another part of it.
Yeah.
I don't see how I don't see how either of his sons. I don't see how Ivanka has security clearance to come in and out of the White House just while there's this ongoing FBI investigation. Like I said,
pretty
whether or
wild.
not you feel like I don't care what side of the political aisle you sit or stand on or whatever. If this was a movie, you'd be like, oh, we're in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so you know,
Right.
I know, because I know some people, they're just going to ride for Trump, whatever, fake news. That's what they like to go with. But this is real. This is black and white ink on paper. Somebody is going to jail, and it's somebody who is in a high level of the Trump administration, and that person is telling everything that they know. And I'm just saying, and we're not even a year
Right.
into Trump's administration, and we're talking about more corruption than we've probably seen, and at least in my lifetime.
Yeah,
and I lived through.
I can't
I'm
recall.
old enough to remember the Iran-Contra affair.
Right.
You know, and that was probably the most foul thing
Well-
I had ever seen.
What about the? Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The Iran Contra thing with all the, the dope coming out of, was it like Nicaragua? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that whole
literally
thing, like that was
Selling drugs to finance a clandestine war.
yeah. Read
You know,
Rick Ross's
yeah,
book, by
yeah,
the way.
yeah. Shout out to
Because the real Rick Ross.
Yeah,
The real one now.
you know,
That shout to you guys because he came to coaches like
of all
Yeah, I got a
places.
book.
2 years ago.
that
Yeah,
year.
Yeah,
and they
I-
got
He signed it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got the
It's-
sign joint, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a signed joint too.
It's crazy. Like I've met
Just
Rick-
as DJ though. Nick said he was like Spoolz, and the music was all loud, and he was just like DJ, and was just like here.
We'll
It's
take it.
crazy. I've met
It's
Rick
cool.
Ross and the real Rick Ross.
Nice.
Yeah, that's just how my life goes.
Rick Ross's.
I asked the guys. There's a wing stop up the street. I was like, "Does Rick own this one?" He was like, "No." He was like, "But I went to an event once, and he was there." And I was like, "Right on."
Yeah, that I
Lemon
think.
pepper.
I
The
just
Louisiana rub, though.
Oh, dude, you always get the lemon peppers at your parties, man.
Yeah.
think, yeah,
Fire.
fire, as they say down.
And the
south,
garlic
fire.
Parmesan joints are fire too.
Yeah, those are nice. Those are nice.
So dude is
Enough about chicken
Yeah,
wings.
it goes
I
back
could
to
go
food.
on
It
and
goes
on.
back to food.
So dude is about to do some serious telling.
Seems that way.
Yeah, for you to only be facing 0 to 6 months for lying to the FBI,
Yeah.
you're about to tell a
What's-
lot.
Name the rapper. A box of Newports can make your finger talk.
You would
Bring
put
him
me
a
on the spot.
Snickers.
He's from Brooklyn.
Quali.
Nope.
From Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Most Def?
Nope.
I was gonna say Quali.
Sky Zoo.
Sky Zoo. Shout out to Sky Zoo.
Shout out to Sky Zoo.
Good call there.
Anyways.
Most
yeah.
Def is from Brooklyn.
Yes,
I
he
think,
is.
I think he.
so.
I think he. And, aren't he and Quali from Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Quali
exactly.
is-
but-
Yeah.
No, they're both from Brooklyn.
Quali.
Reflects the Eternal.
It's like my
Great
favorite.
album.
I love that album, man.
Yeah. His
Some
new
of y'all-
album's pretty good too.
Yeah, you might. The joint Rick Ross, I really like that record, man. He has some heat on there. So
Yeah, it's cool that they have the real Rick Ross on there.
yeah. Whatever one you
Whichever
one
one
you
you'd consider to be
Yeah.
the real Rick Ross.
So did you guys
I've
ever
met 'em
hear,
both,
not
I'm
to
just
like
saying.
go tangent too far, but do you guys remember that lawsuit? You know, the real Rick
Yeah.
Ross suit?
Yeah.
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 He was
And
sick,
lost.
dead serious.
And
And
had to
lost.
pay
Crazy.
and had to pay
The real Rick Ross.
Yeah,
what
the-
I consider to be the real Rick Ross. They had
Yes.
to pay him.
Rick Ross the
Yeah.
rapper.
Really?
Like his court costs and stuff.
Oh.
Because he lost. It's wild.
I was amazed by that because it's like you're really taking his
yeah.
everything, like
His entire name.
likeness, like everything.
And people, obviously over time, there's been plenty of Yo Gotti, but Rick Ross, that's the
I
man's
mean, to
name.
keep it
Like
a
his
buck,
government
to
name.
keep it a buck, Ricky Rose
Mhm.
should have like
a
been
good
like,
way.
nah, it's cool, I got it.
Pay
You know what
this.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
To keep it a buck,
Yeah.
but
Nah. He's
Rose.
hell bent on keeping Rick Ross and like nothing going wrong with that. Like he's not budging off biting somebody else's
real
entire
strange,
swag.
man.
You know what I'm saying? So, and how he won that, I don't know.
I can't remember. I read an article a long time. It was years ago, but yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably somebody that's was one of Reagan's cronies and was upset about the whole dealings
You're
and
taking it
whatnot.
real deep there.
He
So
did.
we're on some real conspiracy theory type stuff.
Really though, his books, I thought it was really, really good. I read it. That man didn't learn to read until he was in prison
Yeah.
for
That's
selling dope.
crazy.
He was making millions a day.
And couldn't.
In the
Wild.
80s.
But
That's
no, he's
crazy,
he
dog.
seems like I've seen a lot of stuff. I know you met him, Jay. He seems like a very positive.
No, he's
Uplifting
he's a
person,
very
like, you know.
contrite and very like he's a soft spoken and very interesting. Like I only got to have a few words with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, he was trying to sell me a book as well.
Right.
But,
I got to get that paper now.
hey man,
Buy
you
this
know,
book, brother.
if you go from selling kilos to coke to books, like that's
Yeah,
man. America, man.
yeah.
I ain't mad at you.
No,
But yeah, I mean, like
it's pretty awesome.
the way he tells a story, and it's like I'm surprised, honestly, that he's still alive to tell the story because like
Right.
everything is backed up.
There are people
Yeah.
who covered his story that
Who
aren't
are-
alive,
or are alive now.
who have been killed, who they say like shot themselves twice and committed suicide.
Yeah,
That
in the back of
bad.
the,
Or
yeah, they shot themselves in the back of the head
Yeah.
twice.
yeah, the back. It was a
It was
man.
a-
I don't want to misquote this, but I think it was Gary Webb.
I think he was with him for the LA Times. I
Yeah,
wanna say.
or LA Sentinel or one of those. And if it's not, Gary Webb wrote a book called Dark Alliance that goes into deep detail about the Iran-Contra, especially the drug portion coming into the United States. And I want to say, I'm not sure if it's him there was another gentleman. But anyhow, it's very interesting and deep. And as far as Rick was concerned, like the thing that always was interesting to me, because I have a degree in like the criminal aspect of things have always just been interesting. And like he wasn't a flashy individual.
No.
That was one of the things about Rick Ross that always stood out. Like he had an unbelievable amount of money, but it wasn't all gold, everything, you know what I mean? Or anything like that. Like he was very into not drawing attention to himself. So
There was a whole task force dedicated to trying to find him, and they just could. He got arrested in like Cincinnati.
Yep.
He didn't even get arrested in L.A., where
Right.
he was moving the majority of his weight basically to finance this clandestine war for Ronald Reagan. But
Yeah.
like
Good
I
deep-
said,
yeah.
if you want to know
Dark
more
Alliance,
about that,
Rick Ross's book,
this is
check
not a
him out.
conspiracy theory. This is real life facts.
The crazy thing about what Spoolz just said was, in terms of him being low key, like when I worked out in D.C. in finance, I met a dude. His net worth was like $45 million. He had holes in his jeans. He was rocking Skechers. Came into the bank, made a withdrawal. Used to come to my office. He'd kick it, talk, have a couple conversations and ride out. And I'm like, dude. You know, and so I knew him well enough to be like, man, why don't you pull up in this, or why don't you carry yourself a certain way? He's like, why? He's like, I'm comfortable, I'm good. It's not necessary. I don't like unnecessary attention. And to his point, it's like you never know who you're surrounded by.
No.
Because this dude had a net worth of $45 million, holes in his jeans and Skechers, whole T-shirt. He just got done painting somebody's house.
He did. See, this is what he was doing. You know,
What
the
was he
people
doing?
that
Talk to
be
me
out
now.
on the street with the signs. He's one of those people, and
Okay.
he's just finessed the system so well that after he gets off work from doing that, he comes deposit the money into the bank. That's
right.
what's going on.
That's like the second time he got real deep. Conspiracy
And we
theory.
early in the podcast.
We
man.
early,
This
yeah.
is- this is- man,
I
Now,
follow you
speaking
though.
of-
I follow you though.
Speaking
I follow you.
of, so I seen a new game. So
Okay.
you know, there's like people begging on every corner
Yes.
for money or whatnot.
Yes.
So I see a lady the other day. She has a gas can, right?
Mhm.
And then she has a sign that says, "Need money for gas."
Okay.
She has two signs. One of them says "Need money for gas." She's holding up her sign with her empty gas container right across the street from the gas station, mind you.
Okay.
And then I don't even know what the other one says. Something like "God bless," something. I'm like, so if she ran out of gas, she just had some spare cardboard laying in the back seat
Yeah.
with a marker to like make this sign like I ran out of gas. Hey.
I will say the gas thing I've definitely seen before.
Really?
I've not seen the gas
That's
thing.
the first
I've not
time
seen
I'd
the
ever
gas
The
seen
actual
that.
gas can.
I've not seen. No, I've seen someone with a gas. I've seen that before, but I've not seen them with a sign saying like ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Especially like, and then also in very close proximity to a gas station.
Right across the street.
It's like she didn't think her hustle through very well,
Nah,
or whatever's
no.
going on
The
there.
sign would have thrown me off.
That's why she doesn't have a job.
Well, I remember it was a
Dude, there
couple
was a
nights
lady
ago.
that was just jumping into people's cars on Keystone.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Remember
That's
It's just
real.
like if you hit a
And
stop,
that wasn't the first
stoplight-
time she was doing it.
No.
She was doing
That's
that
crazy.
quite
Sorry,
often.
Jay, I didn't mean to cut
Oh
you off.
no, it's just like and like I said, anyone who's in that situation, like I have a certain level of sympathy for whether
Sure.
you're out there because
Yeah.
of just unfortunate circumstances or substance abuse. But I just remember I was at Mass Ave Pub for Dynamite.
Yep.
Shout out to DJ Top Speed, and
Sunday
DJ
nights.
DJ Salazar. Salad bar, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Salad bar.
We
Salad
know-
bar.
we know where you
Spinning
going.
45s, you know, those are
That's
my
right,
people,
man.
so I
But
wanna
he's
get
went
it
by
right.
both names, though, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does go by, his
Cool
actual
dude, man.
last name is Salazar, but
Yeah.
people
Big
always
Bears
mess
fan.
it up, so that's why he calls himself Salad Bar.
I can dig it. I
He's a
can dig
Bears
that.
fan too.
And so, end of the night, we're just chopping it up and talking, and the guy comes in. He's actually in the bar asking people for money. And, usually if I got some change or a dollar or something, I'll hook people up. You just never know. But at the same time, this is what got me. Like, he smelled like cigarettes.
Okay.
And maybe this is wrong of me because, like, I should have a better heart about how I feel about the less fortunate. But I'm like, he had money for cigarettes. Cigarettes are not cheap.
At all.
Nah.
And so I'm like, whatever you spend on cigarettes, that's a couple of meals.
Or you bum that cigarette,
Or you bum that cigarette. But at the same time, like, the efforts you put into bumming that cigarette.
right?
So, like, I mean, it just there's levels to it. Just like if you see, like, a homeless person with a dog, you're like, man, why are you doing that? That dog could probably be out here flourishing on his own.
Nah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Let him get adopted or
like
something.
I'm saying, like, you think about it, like, you go, I always say that
Flourishing on his own.
people shouldn't even go to, like, kennels and stuff and get dogs. You should just go to a bad neighborhood. Like, you don't pick a dog picks you. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm like,
That is
but you're
easily
saddled with this homeless person who's out here, like,
That is
It's
easily-
kind of not fair.
it's not fair because
Yeah.
the dog is probably doing better on his own, but people have more sympathy if they see a dog on its own
true,
than a
though.
man and a dog. It's like, how you gonna have a pet?
That's easily the best
Can't
thing
even
I've
take
heard
care of
today,
yourself.
man.
But that's neither
Be out
here.
here flourishing.
That's neither here nor there. I'm probably wrong for that.
Hey, man,
that's-
shout out to people out.
No,
We-
you're right on the money. I like that.
I've always I've tried to.
Don't hold your dogs back out there, y'all. Let them live. Don't hold them back.
Let 'em
Let them
live.
be great.
like
Don't
it.
hold your dogs back.
Sean and I went to the game, Bears-Niners game Sunday.
Burrs.
Tailgate.
There were a lot of folks coming around asking for money for different things.
Yeah.
Some seemed homeless or were, I think, homeless.
Did
Others
you
were
guys,
for some sort of organization.
The buckets thing was one.
Yeah, I gave
did you guys partake?
I did, man. There was one, I can't remember, was something to like a shelter in Chicago. So I put $2 or $3 in their thing.
That's love.
And then
Bucket
the
boys.
Bucket Boys came around. One of the guys from the Bucket. They said that Rahm Emanuel doesn't like let them play.
The Bucket Boys are dope in Chicago.
Yeah, they are.
They're dope.
I've seen them after like a Bulls game. And
Yeah,
I've seen
they're
them
dope.
in different. But the kid said basically he was a part of the Bucket Boys, and Mayor Rahm Emanuel doesn't allow them to play like outside, like on the corner. It's just different stuff like that
Right,
anymore.
right.
I was like, well, that sucks. And I don't even know what he wanted them. I was like, here. Like,
Hey,
yeah, man, that's
to Rahm Emanuel, that's fuck shit. Now
yeah, dude.
let the
Bucket Boys,
Bucket Boys
Bucket Boys
play.
are awesome, man. So, but no, I feel you, Jay. Like it's, I
Have you ever been in
I
Chicago?
had also had 6 to 7 beers by that point.
Oh yeah. Have you ever been in
I
Chicago
was
and you
feeling
got
very
sold like
jealous.
some
Yeah, Spoolz
batteries
is
or
real
some
giving.
socks?
Oh, I used to work in the heart of that, 69th and Ashland.
Yeah, I remember.
Anything you want.
I got sold some tube socks
Yeah.
on the train once.
Yeah.
It was,
Here's oh
Chicago,
man,
they hustle in the shot.
oh yeah, I was like,
Check
at least
this
they
out.
had something for me.
Yeah, they hustle in the shot.
it's
all
my
day.
man Josh Baxter. Shout to my man Baxter. This is one of the best stories I've heard. So we're at the front page used to be close to Wheeler Mission, which is a great
Right across the
place,
street,
great
yeah.
organization. I've had the chance to volunteer there once or twice, but there's usually folks kind of just hustling outside, like somewhere around Wheeler Mission. So my buddy Josh was walking down the street, and this dude walks up to him and goes, "Excuse me, sir." He goes, "You look like a trim fit individual." He's like, "Would you like to buy this 12-pack of Diet Coke?"
Wow.
Yo,
Yes.
that's
So,
classic, bro.
Shout to Josh, you can comment. Hopefully, you'll check out this episode, or I'll text you and remind you. But
That's funny.
confirm that story. You look like a trim fit individual. Would you like to buy this
some
12 pack
Diet
of Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi or something like that? But that's one of the
That's pretty funny, man.
one of the
like
better
that.
ones. And Josh was like, "Man, I just don't like that stuff, or else I just would have bought it, man. Like that was really good."
Hustle
We
hands
tangented
strong.
We tangented real far off of.
Try this one out. We talked about this as well.
I have another really good hustle story if you guys want to hear it. Real fast though.
Go ahead, Bradley.
Yeah, go ahead and hit
All
him
right,
with
one
that.
time I was with a buddy of mine. This was years and years ago. We went to go pick up a friend of his at the train station. He's coming in from Chicago actually, and we were in there just kind of waiting. This dude walks up to us, and he totally did one of the like open your coat, and I've got like this and this. It was
Shout out
amazing.
real life.
This actually happened to me and
Like
my buddy
Lenny on
Clay.
Good Times.
Yeah,
Shout,
real
shout out
life.
to Coming to America.
And he goes, I got these watches, or I got these bracelets or whatever. And we were both just like, nah, we're cool, man. The dude just he had this look on his, just like this. And he just goes, fucked in the game again. Like that, turned around and walked away. I promise that. Dude, okay, I'm done.
Hey man, we ain't meant to.
All right, let's stop talking about homeless people.
We ain't meant to survive, but it's a setup, man. Even though you fed up.
Keep your head up, man.
Fucked in the game again.
Fucked in the game again.
I wish there was a sound bite we had for
Man,
the
we
the
need
board.
that.
And just
man.
his
Fucked
face,
in
it
the
was
game
solemn,
again.
dude. It was real. Like he was.
Yeah. Shout out to that dude, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
hope he back on his feet.
I hope the game
man.
treated him better
Pick
after
up
that
the
day.
pieces.
Yeah, seriously.
I see y'all
Is that a
tapping your
kazoo?
feet. I see y'all tapping your feet. I seen y'all.
Maybe a little bit during the pickup.
Yeah, he was like, maybe a little bit on the pick. He's like, I was with you on the pick up the pieces a little bit.
You got me confused with the next man.
Nah,
My name is Hustle Marsalis.
Marsalis.
Hey, remember when he delivered them that pizza though during the blizzard?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There wasn't no pizza in there.
Hey, you remember when he did the
The wedding coordinator.
yeah,
one was
Oh, yeah.
when
awesome.
he had,
He had a
when
chitlin loaf.
chitlin
Chitlin
loaf.
loaf.
He was like, no, you gotta marinate. Yo,
Shout
man,
just
shout to
progressing
Tracy Morgan, man.
FBI hearings to old episodes of Martin. Like
Man.
that's what the new old heads
Yo,
is all
man.
about,
Yes,
man.
sir.
He was like, pork and bean juice, you gotta marinate. He was like, you gotta marinate it in pork and bean juice.
nah, sweetie
Nah,
bop.
sweetie.
Sweetie baby.
Yo, shout out to Tracy Morgan, man. That mug was funny, man.
Remember when he rolled up on them with the flowers? They were sitting in their car and he just knocked on their door and they had these like wimpy ass little
I was
flowers.
just trying to swallow my drink, man. Y'all wouldn't let me
Yo.
be great.
Martin is one. Martin, this is a random.
Gotta
This
let
clearly,
it marinate.
this clearly is going to be a random episode. Martin is
Hey.
one of the best sitcoms I've ever seen ever. Like you
Somebody gonna be pregnant.
No,
that was my Tracy
You
Morgan.
can-
Season
you-
1
you-
through 3 is all comedy gold.
you can put Martin up against a lot of sitcoms, and I'm not talking about. I'm not going to limit it to black sitcoms.
Oh,
I'm
no,
talking
no.
about period.
Martin's awesome, man.
There are
Martin
episodes
was a
I've
very
seen
good
20
show,
times, and I laugh at them like I've never
Yeah.
like the Varnell Hill episodes where he goes to Hollywood. And
Yeah.
breaks
Is
into
that Tommy
jealousy.
Davidson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Where he's like, there are two important things in life. Love is both of them. It's just so corny, but so funny.
Yo, he
Man.
he almost started laughing on the part where he's talking about Lake Varnell.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it like
Tommy Davidson's
Mar-
funny, man.
Yeah.
Or the part where David Allen Greer is playing the crooked preacher.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Reverend Leon Lonnie
Get
Love.
away from me, Satan.
Martin's
I rebuke thee.
Martin's
Sister
characters.
Gina.
Martin's characters were amazing, man. We did a EP called Elroy Preston, like the Elroy Preston EP. with Pro
Don't
Forms
you know
did.
no good?
Yeah,
Man.
Yeah, shout out to Martin, man. That was a
The
classic
Kung
show.
Fu dude.
Dragonfly Jones.
Dragonfly Jones was awesome. It was a pleasure for you to make my acquaintance.
Silence.
It's funny they're gonna cut off my phone.
Otis. Otis.
Yeah,
What'd he
Otis is
say?
funny.
He said, I ain't giving you no money, punk.
Yo, man, shout out to Martin.
And got whooped.
Got weird. I know, right? By what's his
Otis
assistant's
could,
name?
could hold his own though.
Facts. Yeah, he kept that taser on him too, low key.
Yeah, he did.
Um,
I don't want
Yo.
to say now, boy.
let's try this one. Let's try this one. Let's try this one. Liangelo Ball is getting pulled out of UCLA by his father. His father says, you know, Mr. LeVar Ball, he says, you know what? I'm just gonna pull him out because he's about to get his heavy suspension at UCLA. So I'm just gonna train him myself, and he'll be ready for the league. And I'm like, fam, your son is not a high recruit.
He's
Nobody.
really feeling himself.
He's actually not on any scouting reports at all.
Bingo. Nobody is checking for him.
Maybe he could go play in China. Oh,
I see what
That
you
was
did
weird.
there.
I think I made that comment
I see
before
what
the
you
show.
did.
I was like, wouldn't it be ironic if he went and played in China for a year before?
So let me
It's the
ask,
same thing. Side note, it's not out of nowhere. Moutier did that
yes.
a couple years ago.
Mhm.
He was going to go to SMU. There was some scandal, whatever. So he just said, "Forget it."
I'll go play.
Played in China. Got $1 million over
Brandon
there.
Jennings did
Brandon
that.
Came
Jennings
back
did
over
that as
here,
well.
yeah. So
Point
You know,
guard.
Brandon
He
Jennings
could.
out of the league completely.
really, is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah,
Already?
like there are some guys who are like we thought were on the come up. Like Roy Hibbert's out of the league.
That,
Trash.
That
I'm not
doesn't
surprised.
surprise
all
me
right.
one bit.
Okay,
yeah.
no one here is surprised, but
Trash.
like he got like $19 million a year when he was in Indianapolis.
So
so.
let me
Overpaid.
let me ask you
Oh,
guys.
my
Let me
goodness.
ask you
Could
guys.
be
Except
one
for
of the
big
most.
red dog.
Let me ask
Goodness.
you guys this about in terms of the Ball phenomenon, right? So there's a big enough sample size between when he was at UCLA up until we were probably about a quarter through his first rookie season. Talking about Lonzo, Dad is people clamor to Dad after the game, whether it's like TMZ or whomever. People want to get sound bites, right?
Mhm.
So they're trying to implement a system where he either can't be interviewed or they can't take any of his sound bites because he's criticized Luke Walton. He's talking about how he's coaching his son soft. So I'm not the one to tell people how to raise their children because I don't have children. But what do you guys think about the attention that has been brought to Lonzo? Because in my opinion, I feel like it's going to hinder his success. That's just me. Everybody's coming for his throat. Patrick Beverly put him on blast game 1 of his rookie year, of this year, obviously.
Mhm.
So is Dad becoming more of a distraction? Because I think, excuse me,
It's the
in my
same.
it's the same. Because he's living vicariously through his son.
They have a reality show. What do you
They
expect?
do
Yeah.
on Facebook. He's about that paper now. I'm not knocking. He's an entrepreneur, but I think it's hindering Lonzo. What do you say, Lon?
I think it hinders every child.
Okay, fair enough.
But I don't necessarily like you said. Who am I to tell him how to raise his son? You know,
Yeah.
he's got his family first in mind.
Yep.
All the time.
Facts.
You know. But sometimes it does seem like he's living vicariously through all of them.
That's the way I see it. That's
To
just
your
my
definitely
point,
opinion.
it
is.
seems like
I
he's
mean,
thinking about himself
way too
sometimes
much.
more.
Like,
He
than-
is. Like we've actually talked about this.
But
on
when
the
he
episode
when he
before.
makes a statement like, "Nah, all my kids are one and done in college." Like, what
Right.
if one of them wants to actually stay and become educated because
Wow.
he's not quite good enough to play
No,
in the league?
I think that's
Good
that's a
point.
valid point.
You know,
It's
like,
very
but
valid.
he's just, I don't know. I don't want to say that the kids are intimidated by their father in that aspect.
because what's
but
the middle child's? What's the one who's UCLA
Jello?
now?
That's Jello, Liangelo.
Liangelo.
That's the one that was
That's
in
Like
the
China.
one.
I'm like, because now they say he's withdrawn from UCLA because
Yeah.
he's not going to be able to play because it's indefinite suspension.
Yep.
his dad
what
did
if
that.
what if he actually doesn't want to be in one and done? We're under the assumption that these kids want to be a one and done. What if he actually wants to take something from the college experience?
Just
He doesn't
yeah,
want
just
to
like-
run to the NBA. Maybe that's because the thing is, maybe that's not his dream.
Maybe.
Like, we don't ever think about, and at the same time, he's 18 years old, 18, 19, or whatever it is
Right.
you are when you're a freshman.
Right.
You're a man at that point, as far as the decisions you're
Yeah,
able
he
to
could
make
have made
and
his
how
own
you're
decision.
able to be held accountable. So, for you say my father's taking me out of school,
Yeah.
like that's I mean, for the youngest one, okay, that's what it is because your
Right.
father, you're still
Right.
under his
Yeah.
name. But
Yeah.
I and the thing is, I would say, we talk about indefinite suspension. I'm thinking about the times, the few, I played ball up until I was like a junior in high school.
Look out now.
Clearly I wasn't good enough to go. Like, truly, I used my voice and my brain after that because my legs and my arms were not going to get me any further in this life.
Facts.
But I think about the coaches I played for. When I was at Lafayette or Selvage, going back that far.
Hold on.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, all right.
Thank
I see
you.
what that is.
Hold on.
Very good, very
Spoolz, explain that, please.
Oh, the fuck shit
fuck
bell?
shit bell, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I rang it because Sean, you could hear his phone and it interrupted the show.
All right, so here's what I'm
It
going to say.
happens to everybody. Everybody's done it. We didn't have a fuck shit bell before.
Oh, no, but
And
I
if-
got something for you.
And if it would have happened before, it should have been ringing then.
So I'm going to ring it back
Oh,
because
wow.
I do the editing, and you're not going to hear that. So
Keep in mind, I call him
Fair
the
enough.
maestro for a reason,
And
so he can
you
edit.
probably haven't heard that in any of the other episodes as well. Even Terry's last week.
Yeah.
Nope. See, I didn't hear it.
I've heard
gone.
Mike's.
Shout out-
I think I heard Mike's once.
Shout out to Lone stunting on these fools
But-
out here.
Bang bang.
Bang,
But-
bang.
but-
have the
sorry,
ability
sorry,
to do
brother
no,
Moore.
but what
I
I was saying
apologize.
is, I think about the
But yeah, you're right.
any of the coaches, even going back, if I'd have done some off-brand shit like stealing, when we're on, because the thing is, even though he's a man at this point, he's 18 or whatever,
Yeah.
like your name doesn't belong to you yet,
Mm.
because like that would be something that that would be my father's name that I'm
Right.
besmirching, if you will,
Right.
by doing something as stupid as trying to just petty theft
Yeah.
on not only petty theft, but petty theft on a foreign land when I'm on a school trip.
Yes.
Right.
Like,
And
so,
your brother plays for the Lakers, who
Your
could
brother
have
plays for the
easily
Lakers.
bought you those shades.
so
I just think about
Ease.
how scared I would be to steal. I mean, to steal from in China.
look, I've
like
seen
we
Locked
hear
Up
these
Abroad.
stories.
I know what
That's
time
what
it
I'm
is.
saying. This is like
Facts.
Like, this is a
Facts.
communist country.
Yeah.
They don't care about what we care about over here.
At all.
And so
Yeah, at
to
all.
me, if and like I said, up to this point, like I've been even though I think he's a jerk, I've been a fan of Mr. Ball. You know what I'm saying?
And he's
'Cause-
to Lone's point, he's about his family first. You have to
Exactly.
honor that. You have to respect that.
But at the same time, as a father, you have to understand that your son needs to sit down. Like, what I'm saying, this year away from basketball, that may be what he needs. So I would, like I said, I'm thinking about, like, if I'd have done something like that, not only how my coaches would have reacted, but how my
Right.
father would have reacted.
Right.
If I'm up there and putting a stain on his name, because like I said, the
Exactly.
name doesn't belong to me yet.
It's a legacy thing.
It's
a legacy
So,
thing.
like, I just think for him to act like it's not that big of a deal is an issue. See, this is what happens.
Sorry, go ahead.
Circle of life.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead. We're recording. Why did I get the fuck shit bell?
Well, I mean, you're dinging in the microphone.
So we're going to compare my ding to
You know what you can do
In
is
the
actually
microphone.
turn all your media and all that off before, like I did.
Yeah, I
Because
did. I do
have,
too.
uh,
Yeah.
Mine just
recorded-
happened. I turned it
Oh,
down.
you do too?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I had one incident.
Okay, I'm just checking. Why you get mad
And
at
I'm not
me?
even
I'm
here
not
all the
mad
time.
though.
Why you
Sometimes-
raise your voice?
Why do I always have to be the mad person? I'm
Why you
not
raise
mad.
your? But why you yelling?
I'm really
I
not.
probably
though.
should have turned my media. I turned my ringers off, but my media's on. So when I did the live or the Instagram video, it may have picked up. But you definitely dinged in the microphone because I
did.
heard it in my headset.
I deserve the fuck shit bell. I'm sorry.
on
Here
the
it
same
is.
topic though. Mike had alluded to this before.
There's another one.
Good job.
Thanks,
Just real
Terry.
quick, an ESPN article and what many employees at Staples Center view as the quote LeVar Ball rule.
Bingo.
This season, the Los Angeles Lakers are enforcing a policy that no longer allows members of the media to congregate in a section of the arena among family and associates of players after games. So just real quick, family, friends, and agents usually wait for players in the seats behind the basket closest to the visiting team's locker room at the end of the games. Interviews conducted in that designated area and near the tunnel leading to the arena corridors are now forbidden.
Is that not the LeVar Ball rule?
Yeah,
Like,
basically, because nobody's gathering to talk to anybody else's dad.
So here's the thing
Nah.
about that. I don't blame, and I agree with what you guys were saying as far as like
Nobody's
how he
talking
wants to
Larry
raise
Nance
his,
Senior.
raise his,
great player though.
his kids
doing
or
all right.
He's
whatever.
in Cleveland.
You
Shout out
didn't see Michael
Yeah.
Jordan's daddy all in the videos dancing.
Oh.
You didn't see
It's
that.
just
Rest
a little.
in peace,
It's a
by the
little
way.
too much, man. And I saw this come. I didn't think he would go that far. I knew the Lakers, a professional organization, wouldn't tolerate it, and his sons aren't at UCLA long enough for UCLA probably to care.
Okay.
So, I'm
doesn't-
not surprised that this happened at all. He does. It does make the Lakers look bad. Like
He doesn't care about their education, like going back to that. Because so the youngest has a shoe.
Already.
And that's dope, by the way. You're in high school, you got a shoe. That's dope. But I guess it's an NCAA rule that you can't have your own shoe while playing for an NCAA team.
And receive a scholarship. See,
So
that's
he pulled
that's
him
the
out,
thing.
yeah.
Okay,
So he
yeah.
So they're
pulled him
like,
out.
we'll
no,
have
he
the
hasn't
money
even
to
went
pay for
yet.
him to go.
No, but
He hasn't went yet.
what I'm saying is what I'm saying is he would rather, the way I understood it, he would rather just have him get his signature shoe and not go to school for that reason, just to avoid all that.
Right.
I'm just gonna homeschool him, train him up so he can go
Well,
to the league.
not the whole high school thing.
Okay. My
It doesn't
fault.
have anything to do with the high school thing. He
Okay.
he can have his own shoe in high school.
In high school, I got you.
But it was something with the coaching staff or something.
oh,
in high
college.
school.
In college, it's it's whatever. company sponsors that school.
Right.
It's an
Yeah.
endorsement essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't do
Yeah.
that.
So
if
they
the
were-
if the
they're
coach is-
saying
if it's
that.
a Nike coach, you're going to wear some Nike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Simple
you have
as
no
that.
you have no
Simple
choice.
as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
And he was saying something like he's going to rewrite the rules or something like that. And like I get it. He's all for his sons advancing, and
Yeah.
the whole thing is he's using them to get where he never got.
And here's the other thing
Vicarious.
too, like to that
Yeah,
to that
definitely.
same point,
Vicarious.
is this the guy that we want? Like, has he been proven to be like he's? It's always I'm going to pull my kid out and train him myself. Like, I don't know if that's good for these dudes, like for his sons.
We'll find out.
Like, who has he successfully trained
he might
to
be
this
a
point
good-
that is in the NBA right now? And I don't think say Lonzo Ball, because he played organized high school basketball and he played a year
one
at
year
UCLA.
in college in the NCAA tournament. We
Yes,
got to
he
see what
did.
he got to do.
So it's not like he's just been like, we have no example of what LeVar Ball's training is going to do for any player
Look, to
yet.
get into the league, they got to have tape on you. That's all there is
Yeah.
to that.
The
Whether it's YouTube or you playing in Lithuania
Yeah.
or Russia or
It
China.
would behoove I think it's Liangelo or Liangelo too. If he's not going to do that, don't go play in China for a year.
Yeah.
Go play competitive ball, or play in Greece, or play somewhere in Europe, so where you're playing grown-ups, man.
I
You
think
know what I
that's
mean?
what his
Like,
skill set
or tell your
dictates.
father,
Yes,
I want to
yes,
go
over-
ahead and
another thought too.
play. I'll take my medicine
Yep.
and sit out this year and play my sophomore year at UCLA.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Side
you're
note,
not getting an NBA contract off the strength that your dad likes to talk a lot,
Right.
and your
Plus-
oldest brother made it.
Plus, I don't even
Kinda
think
made it.
I don't even
Yeah.
think he was starting this year anyways.
Who's that?
No, he
Jello.
wasn't.
Jello wasn't even going to start. So
No,
how,
he wasn't.
how do you expect to make it into the NBA after 1 year if you're not even a highly
You're not
touted?
even a starter in
How can you prove?
college.
You can't even prove yourself.
Yeah.
So
And they said on First Take, First Take, they said he's not on anybody's draft board through 3 rounds.
Nobody's.
Nobody's.
not
your
nobody
point
scout.
earlier,
If
Nobody's
you're not a
nobody.
lottery pick, it
There's
really
not
doesn't
even
matter.
there's not even
Yeah.
3 rounds, and there's only 2 rounds.
Is it what?
There's
Yeah.
a-
I thought you were going to say even if they had like 3 rounds,
Well,
they
yeah,
wouldn't.
But he's
I
not
can
on-
do-
There's
I'll-
like
I'll
the
take
free
that.
agent supplemental.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was.
And see, what I heard
I'm
was
getting
was
confused with
scouting
football.
lists. Like
Yeah.
NBA scouts aren't even looking for him at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
He's
Well-
not even registered at all.
Here's
So-
the thing, man. I like just talking straight basketball, right?
Yeah.
Lonzo's got game, man. Lonzo's going to be just fine.
He-
I personally think so, because
mentally he's very sharp. He's
Yes,
got a
he
great
is.
feel for the game.
he's a humble.
He's just
He
a little
seems like a
timid
humble
right now.
guy.
Yeah, he's a little timid.
I think he's averaging 7 or 8, 9 points a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
Something
it's,
like
you know,
that.
I mean,
But
he-
he,
Tim,
he
the
already,
Lakers-
he already hit a couple triple doubles.
timid.
He's a ball distributor. He's not a scorer.
he's going to be he's going to have a long career, man. And he's
Oh, yeah.
he's a good ball player.
I wouldn't call him a bust. It's too early for that.
No, he's
No,
definitely
no,
not a bust.
definitely
I
not.
watched Liangelo. I was looking at Zion Williamson games, and their AAU teams played against each other, and I was just watching him play, and like, he does not have the same kind of game as his brother, man.
No.
Facts.
He's not as unselfish as
They're saying
Lonzo
that the
is.
youngest is better than all 3 of them.
Really?
But
That's
you know
what they
what?
were
Now that he's
saying.
pulled out of school, how do we really know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because Lonzo's a lot better than Liangelo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, so like the game where he scored like 100 points in high school,
Yeah.
Cherry
it was a
picking the whole
cherry
time.
picking game
Yeah,
the
I wasn't
whole
impressed.
time.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the dad is upset that I think they brought in another coach or something or another.
Oh, at Chino Hills,
That
the
they
high school.
can't
Yeah.
They're not
going
gonna
to
play like that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why I pulled him.
anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to
Yeah.
actually
It's like you're not going to build
play
the
some
offense around my
organized
son. He's
basketball.
out of here.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, the beauty is we're gonna find out. Like we'll be able to
Yes.
see him with his training regimen and see what he does. You know what I'm saying, with the middle son. So
I mean, if
we'll
anything,
see.
he would have put his youngest son, in another high school
Yeah, could have done that. And let
because
that happens all the
essentially
time.
you're holding him back because you can't produce the same style of play that he's facing
Right.
when he's playing teams.
that's fair.
You can't do that, and he's playing the best players in those select townships or whatever.
That's fair.
You can't do that, even if he's going to play pickup games.
Right.
It's
That's
not
what I'm
the
saying.
same.
I don't think him being trained is the best
No.
idea, unless LeVar Ball turns out to be the most amazing basketball trainer ever,
and we definitely will.
which could happen. But
We're going to see. So we will find out. I want to jump into some music out to South Memphis. Joyner Lucas, I'm not racist. I did not get a chance to see the entire video. I saw the gentleman, I think it was a white guy with the beard. His he did the first verse, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't get a chance to see the whole thing. Lone, what were your thoughts on that one?
Well, first off, it was all Joyner Lucas, right? You know that, right?
Yeah, that's what I haven't seen all of it. They just said it was his record, but there were multiple characters in it or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, they're like
The
actors.
video is
I was just making sure
probably
that
doing the song a
It is.
disservice.
It's just his record, though, right?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
making
That's a
sure.
good
you knew
point,
that.
Jay Moore. You should bring that up as
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
What's
was
that?
The video might be doing this song a disservice potentially.
maybe I have to
Possibly.
go listen
But
to the
anyway,
record.
I apologize. I've interrupted you.
What were your thoughts on that joint? Because I didn't get a chance to see it in its entirety yet. Because I know we talked about this prior to coming on.
Well, how about this?
Okay.
Because I know Jay and Terry have negative things to say about it. So
Okay.
I will counter those,
Okay.
not necessarily fully, but partially.
Okay.
After let's go to
All right.
them first.
Let's go to DJ Jay Diff. Let's get your thoughts quickly on that Joyner Lucas video.
I'm just real indifferent about it. Like
Okay.
the whole concept of it is alright. I mean, just the way it starts out, it kind of throws you off a little bit, especially if you don't know what's going on. It's like, what is this?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It kind of throws
Especially
you
the
off.
video,
Yeah, the video.
because it starts off right with the white guy looking right in the camera with the hat on.
See, I feel like I need to see that first.
You know,
before,
like, and if you don't know Joyner
Yeah,
Lucas,
you
it's
definitely
like,
need to
Yeah,
check
dropping
that
in
out.
but
words
at the
and
same time, like I
stuff.
said,
Yeah.
it might do you better to hear the song before
Then-
you see the video.
then see the video.
Because, like, just when we were talking about it, my opinion of the song is really influenced by the visual, which I didn't care for.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, that's how I feel about it as far as the visual is concerned. Even his verse, not the first verse that the white guys rapping.
portraying. But the response.
What's the name? Yeah, the response.
just so everybody knows, there's a black guy that responds.
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
it's like the white person starts first,
Okay.
and he's got all these reasons why. I don't know. He's just what.
Yeah, he doesn't understand why black people just can't get it together, really.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's like a little pause, and he's like, "I'm not racist," and then the black guy responds.
Okay, go ahead. I just
All
want
right,
to make sure we
so-
got clarification there.
Like some of the things that he was saying about being black
Mm-hmm.
were very cliche.
Any examples off the top? I mean, I know you
Kool-Aid,
don't. Okay.
chicken.
So real
Yeah.
stereotypical,
Yeah, I
right?
was
Yeah.
like, why
Okay.
is that? And the way he's spitting it is like he's mad.
And selling
You
drugs
can't
too or
get
something.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just like, I just wasn't feeling it.
Okay.
And then at the end, there's like this embrace, like they look at each other, and he's like, "Oh, I kind of get it now," and the black dude's like, "Okay, this," and then
Jump-
they hug each other.
I kind
Jump
of
in,
feel
Jay,
the
'cause I
same
know
way
we
just
kinda
because,
pressed
like
for
I said,
time.
I saw the video, and of course I see it through the eyes of also seeing it on Deezus and Mero. Shout
Yeah.
out to them. Not that they're listening, but
They may. They may
You
be.
never know. You
At
never
one
know.
point, they may.
Bodega Boys.
yeah, exactly. Hey, they came up off a podcast. Maybe we're next.
They did.
You better speak that in existence.
But I got the same feeling of, unfortunately, when I remember when LL Cool J did that song "Accidental Racist" with
Oh,
that
yeah.
country
Yeah, dude,
music
that was
artist.
terrible.
Yeah.
And and maybe it hurt me a little bit more because like I'm from like LL Cool J. That is my jumping off point into hip hop. Being
Okay.
like, okay, this is what I'm going to be into.
Right.
Where of course I liked raps, but I was into video games and robots. But like when I heard "I'm Bad" on Magic 108 in
Classic.
St. Louis on a Friday afternoon, I literally sat in front of the radio for an entire weekend trying to hear that song again. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to be into. And
Right.
that was my jumping off point. So LL is like a superhero to me. So hearing him do that, it's so like that's kind of going off on a tangent about me and my love for hip hop, but it was just almost like not that it was almost like, hey, let's give a certain level of credibility to people's messed up perceptions of black life in America.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of like when he said, well, I won't judge, your Confederate flag if you don't, judge my gold chains. This is going back
Right.
to the accidental racist song. I was
Yeah,
like,
that was
the
so
Confederate
trash.
flag
That was
is a symbol.
god-awful.
Yeah.
My gold chains have never, not that I wear gold chains but it's just, when we're talking about, have never oppressed anybody. You may not care for them as a fashion
Absolutely.
statement, but the gold chains have never done anything to your family.
Right.
So when I heard or saw the video, that's what it gave me the feeling of. And like I said, because I saw the video before I just listened to the song, maybe I would have had a different idea about it. But like I think when we spoke earlier, it's not really for me. It's almost to make a certain segment of white people who don't really listen to hip hop feel a little bit better about having a certain racist feeling in their heart. And the thing is, like, I would rather people say, instead of saying, I'm not racist, I'd rather certain people say, you know what? I might be a little bit racist. At least
for sure.
we could have a real conversation there.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you say, I'm not racist, but this, and this watermelon chicken and, Kool-Aid.
The whole first verse
you
was,
might be a little bit racist. I'd rather you say I'm a little bit racist.
To me.
Because then we could have a real conversation.
No, absolutely.
Let's come along with
absolutely.
With his rebuttal.
I agree with everything you guys are saying.
Uh-huh.
I think the first verse absolutely was racist.
Yeah.
I think his response in certain parts, just coming from a white person, I think his response, I didn't like the fact that he kept feeling like he kept having to say, I'm not racist.
Okay.
In the response.
Right.
Like,
that's the black guy.
Because that's
Yeah.
always, that's the go-to. Well, both of them were saying it on both ends.
Okay.
I look at it from a different skewed angle in a sense. I believe that that part of the learning curve for white people that are racist, that maybe don't want to be racist, a lot of times is a specific type of understanding, and I believe that there needs to be dialogue mixed with emotional attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's real.
And what this did when I listened to it, I agreed with everything that you guys said, but I felt like the song was not made for necessarily us to consume. I felt like it was made for people that maybe they see the I'm not racist and they see the white person out front, and then that creates a dialogue. Or maybe they listen to everything the white person says and they listen to how the black person responds, and at a very rudimentary level, it very slowly starts to bridge stuff and break stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think most white people that don't understand racism and systemic racism in America probably don't know what we were just talking about there.
Okay.
Before that, or they haven't got to that point to understanding to accept those things, but they might be able to bridge the chicken and the watermelon and what he was saying, the very the obvious racist stuff that the guy was saying in the very first part, in the counterpart.
Blatantly obvious based off what you guys are describing. Like,
but the fact that a lot of white people in general don't have that emotional attachment, in my opinion, to be able to care enough to understand that these things actually impact other people that they don't understand, I can see how that may possibly have an impact.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what I think about it. So I agree, but I think that his target may have been a little bit different. I'm curious actually what Joyner, I haven't heard him speak on it at all.
Me neither.
But I'm very curious as to what his target was. And I can understand and I can appreciate people saying that it's problematic.
Right.
I can agree with that.
But maybe that's what it needs to be problematic to start a conversation, because that's what we're talking about right now.
And so, and at the same time, my son, is that his name?
My
Mm-hmm.
son.
My son.
Yeah.
He responded with the more quote unquote educated version, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But things that
I don't know if his response would have the same response to those people that were trying, that when I say we, I speak from a white person's perspective, are trying to reach,
right,
as opposed to the other one. Whether it's fucked up or not, I feel like, I don't know. I think there's an education that has to happen, and I feel like they have to feel certain way. I don't know.
I think we're in an era of,
and I'm speaking on the levels of cognitive dissonance in white America, which is very, very thorough.
I get it. I just think that we are in the age, or we are in the era of uncomfortable things sparking dialect and conversation.
Dialogue,
same thing. Sorry.
Is it
Go ahead.
the same thing?
Go ahead.
No,
You
it
gonna
wasn't.
ring?
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You had a flow going, man. I'm not
knew
mad
what
at
I
you.
meant, though.
Yeah.
dialect and dialogue are two different words.
Two different meanings, even.
Shout out to the fuck shit, Bill.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're in that era now where uncomfortable things get people talking, right?
Look, as uncomfortable as you are with Colin Kaepernick, to someone who is uncomfortable with that, the conversations have been had.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
He's
And
not in
think
the
about-
league, but of course there's been that hush money. We might have to say that for another episode, because I still consider it hush money, because it's like, okay, I'm glad you come in with that $89 million, but really, what is that to you?
Exactly.
We trying to get these ratings back
but
up.
You're still not addressing the fact that Colin Kaepernick is not in the league, and honestly, he could start for about 6 teams.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give you this bread, and hopefully we can get these ratings back.
Yeah,
up,
and hopefully you'll stop protesting, and you'll stop bringing up Colin Kaepernick.
everything goes back to normal. Spoolz, I'm coming to you. Put a bow on it, man, in terms of everything that has been around the room.
I understand what everybody's point of view as far as what their feelings about the song. I agree with what Jay Moore said kind of at the top of the conversation, which was that I think sometimes the video that video could possibly do a disservice to the song. I thought the things that so here's what I'll say. The things that he was saying when he was the white guy, I've heard white people say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I've heard it a lot more since Donald Trump has been voted into office.
Okay.
A lot more. So now to
That's
the
real.
point of
That's
the,
real.
I guess, rebuttal part where then he was the black guy in the video, I don't think it was as good. It was almost like if you could take my son's verse and stick it in there, it would have been a better rebuttal to what I think it was great for white people, not in the way that Jay Moore necessarily said or the way that Terry or Mike or that you guys like that pocket of white people to make them feel good. I think the very end does that. The very end bothered me because when you say agree to disagree, I don't think that type of phrase should come out when you're talking about things like race and compassion and love and empathy and things like that. Agree to disagree, no. Like that kind of ruined it for me just a little bit. That very end part, that I guess we'll agree to disagree and hug it out. Like that was a lame ending. However, I thought this did a great job of calling out white people today, December the 5th, 2017, on all the shit that they've been saying, and in some ways feel validated by with Donald Trump being our president right now.
Wow.
I think he did a great job of doing that. Because again, this is the stuff that this is what I hear. Like from white people when some of these discussions come up as it pertains to black people.
Especially,
and sometimes it's hidden. The people won't say black people like right out when they start saying things
But
like
you know what they're talking about.
He was talking about, so there's a term welfare queen that's been around for a very, very long time that started like in the 60s, right? Somewhere
really popularized
around that
during
time.
the Reagan era.
Yes, yeah, and maybe it was the 70s that started, but it did popularize during the Reagan era, and it was this concept that black women have children so they can get money from the government and just live off the government.
Just eat shrimp and steak all day.
Yeah, benefits.
Like, how just unbelievable. But the thing is, the saddest part about all that is there are white people that actually believe that.
Yeah.
And that helps mold their opinions about black people in general.
There
And
are
he
white
touches
people
me.
on welfare
Yeah,
who
there's
are like,
actually
look at these
numbers
welfare queens.
that show that there's more white people on welfare than there are black people.
And as far as proportion is concerned, it's more in line with the overall proportion racially. Like speaking racially, like you talk about tax cuts that like not necessarily tax cuts, but like socially generated programs like welfare. You know what I mean? I don't know why I said tax cuts, but at the end of the day, it's. I thought he did do a good job of like I know a lot of white people that I think need to hear this. And not to make them feel good, to make them feel uncomfortable, so that you don't feel validated. It's because you're refusing to hear another side of it. Now, could those same white people, to the point Sean kind of made, I see it as like levels. There are this group of white folks that are you can still reach them.
Yeah.
Right now, and they're almost like ripe to be reached right now. But then there's another level of white folks that you're not going to reach, man.
You mean the people who are going to vote for Roy Moore?
Exactly.
Okay.
I see what you did there. I see what you did.
You know,
there.
and those the first group that I mentioned, I think this song is great for them. Like, you're not validated in feeling those things. That's what this Joyner Lucas song did for me, for that group of white people. All those things that you feel good about saying that makes you feel better than black people or like you have it all figured out, well, you're wrong.
And this is a lot of times,
and I thought the song did a good job of
and a lot of
doing
times,
that.
too, that there is stuff that Spoolz and I, for example, there were conversations that we'll be in with like 6 or 7 other white people that you guys will never be in conversations with.
They
Because
happen
they feel
Sunday.
No, because they'll feel comfortable saying things to you because
they think that we're part of them.
Yeah, they think, oh, well, these guys think just based on this right here.
Yeah.
They think, well, I was pointing skin. It's like, oh, well, they probably feel the same way I do.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that they're saying.
And then it gets really uncomfortable.
It can.
Not necessarily for me.
Not for me. Yeah, exactly. That's what I don't feel uncomfortable. Like,
But that's something that's very, very specific because I notice this in different people that they'll say things and they'll be very vocal about these things, but then they'll tuck it under depending on what happens. And so that kind of what you said, it goes back to the levels. You know, this song speaks to certain levels. It doesn't necessarily speak to everybody, but
yeah, like,
you know,
are 80-year-old white men going to hear that and change them? No.
It's over.
But could some of these kids that marched in Charlottesville that really didn't know why they were there in the first place and were just kind of following along with the crowd and think they feel, you know, a certain way right now, or they just are just, you know, as white males are being beaten to the ground by the system right now, and all just horse shit that some people think? Yeah, I think that could have touched them.
There's a chance. There's a chance.
The cognitive dissonance in race for a lot of white people, depending on how you grew up, is not a 1, 2, 3 year process. For some, it's 10 years. It's 12 years. It's 15 years. And I say this from experience.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This was a 10-year process for me.
Right.
To fully understand, to fully grasp everything. It took 10 years for me to fully grasp. And I'm not even saying I understand everything as it is.
Yeah.
Right.
But it took me 10 years to really
But the fact that you can say that out loud and say, I don't fully understand the things the way they are. Like, there's people who are so committed to their worldview that they think they understand everything, and this is the reason why black people do these things, and this is why this is wrong, and you know. But then you bring up redlining, and you bring up Jim Crow, and they're like,
busting, and the things they did in Chicago with housing,
and you bring up Fred Hampton, and they're like, oh, well, that was so long ago.
Yeah,
I was like, no, that's when your dad was alive.
Like the idea of telling black, I mean, just specifically in this song, the idea of a white person telling a black person, we mentioned this before on this show, to get over slavery or to get over the 100 years that occurred after that.
And that is something that he did touch
crazy
on in the song.
He did. I thought that was a good part of it as well. Like those real things that white people do say today.
That's why that's another reason why I don't think the response or the rebuttal on the black end was good.
I can see that. Like you said, if you you heard My Sons?
Yeah, I did.
It's almost like if you could have just taken out the second part and put his in, it was a far better and response. I thought more well thought out rebuttal.
Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily disagree with that, I guess. But
I think also the fact that you put basically a kid with the like you basically went out and got what white people just stereotypically would be afraid of, where you went out and got a Chief Keef.
I thought that was the point.
You know what I mean? I get, but it's almost like if you just went out and got someone, I don't want to say regular, because like there's not like black people, this monolith, and we're all dreaded, whatever. But it's almost like, you know,
should have went and got Randall from This Is Us.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, but just you know, just there's some people who probably would never listen to this podcast, but just to hear, the five of us have a conversation like this, like they can't even conceive of something like that.
To his point about his growth, we grew up together. We grew up in the same town together. So I got a chance to watch his growth in terms of how he has matured. And we've had certain conversations off air or whatever, just about culture, just in general. And it's dope to actually be able to, be able to bounce ideas off a friend and see how someone might think that I might not be able to relate to, but also be aware of his growth and watch him mature and grow in his thought process and how he thinks. Like, it's dope to see, because I always give Spoolz credit, always give Long credit. Like, they are very open-minded, and they have always been approachable and always been open to conversation about these things. I've never been shut off by either one of them. So I've always appreciated that, and I'll say that over and over again on any episode. Like, I think it's dope, and we need more people that are willing to have that open mind, to have the conversation.
I can dig it. I think the concept overall of the video was cool. Mm-hmm. I understand where they're coming from as far as trying to grab listeners and viewers to kind of see both sides of the coin.
Right.
But I feel like the weight wasn't even.
I can
agree with that.
I agree with that.
It wasn't really spread evenly. And then as far as the conversations,
like the black guy's verse was shorter almost, it seemed, than
the white guy. It was shorter, and it wasn't as on point. It was cliche.
And I thought he was really acting the day mocking him when he was saying, but I'm not racist. I thought he was just mocking the white guy when he was saying that.
And then, like, as far as conversation wise, I think even the people that would look at that and want to have a conversation, it wouldn't necessarily be a constructive conversation. It would be more, I think, it would be more along the line as trying to make me realize, or black people realize, why the white guy said all of this stuff and still trying to stand up for it.
I think that's part of the process for a white person sometimes. Is to
and
have
maybe that's
that
why
conversation.
I can't empathize with it.
And probably not.
That's
Because
probably what it is.
Because it's part of it. You have those conversations, and then you get shut down, and then you're just like, oh, well, you're in your feelings. But then it depends. All right, so do I really care about black people?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're making people ask those questions they've sadly probably never asked themselves before.
Yeah.
You know,
The key, Sean was talking about growth and how he views the world, or in that way. And step one, and I never preach, man. I try really hard not to. You know, I'll state my opinions and things, but I try really hard not to tell anyone what to do.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I am telling certain white people that we've talked about that step one is realizing you will never know what it's like to be black.
Right.
That is the very first step. And that can be applied across the board to a lot of other. I'll never know what it's like to be a woman.
There you go.
Indeed.
I'll never know what it's like to be a lot of other things because I was a white male.
Yeah.
That's where empathy and compassion just starts at the end of the day.
And this is what we speak, especially when we talk power structures in America, especially. I will say this, regardless if there's flack or not, I don't think necessarily everybody knows what it's like to grow up as a white male and not be able to grasp those concepts.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's fair.
And I'm not saying that just because there's a process involved. And I'm very, very big on the emotional attachment.
Yeah.
Because it took me to have an emotional attachment with a black woman, a close one, to really be able to grasp and understand, oh wow, I actually experience and feel that.
For the people that don't have, excuse me,
And to see those emotions in somebody, like I had black friends my entire life,
Sure.
close friends,
Sure.
but it was different,
Oh yeah, definitely.
and it was just like wow, and it like hit me in a very specific. This is like maybe 2012, or
because
so.
it
And
was
actually,
just like it hit close to home. Like it's like
It was home.
it was home.
It was.
It was home.
That's what it
Not
was.
close to it. It was home, yeah.
completely different. It was just
Yeah.
like wow, okay,
Yeah.
shit, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
No, I that makes perfect sense to me, and I agree with that as well, man. I mean, there's been a number of incidents that there's one that stands out to me that was
it doesn't
specifically
condone white people though. I want to get that
Correct.
out there. It
No,
doesn't mean it's
I follow
right.
you. I follow
but,
you. I follow you. Yeah, I follow you.
an incident after I think it was like, did Floyd Mayweather fight De La Hoya back in the day?
Yeah.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah, it
beat
was
him.
like 99.
Everybody thought, De La Hoya. It was a really awkward, sad moment with friends
Yeah.
after that fight when everybody had been drinking a lot and stuff like that, man. Where
It's weird because it's always awkward centered around sporting events. Like even the last fight that Floyd had
McGregor.
with McGregor, who is Irish.
I went
not
through.
even
I
American.
went through it as well.
Yeah, when you
I
saw
went through it as well.
all these white people who are always draped in themselves in the American flag.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here's one fighter from America who's Floyd Mayweather, who's a black man, but all of a sudden now they're draping themselves.
I mean,
The
look
fact
at-
that he
look
was
at-
Irish it was out the window.
yeah,
like
it
Irish
was like,
I saw
it was like,
Ireland.
oh yeah,
I
yeah.
saw it
And
though.
so I was like, oh,
To Terry's-
okay, this is
This is. This guy's the American. He's the American in this.
Yeah.
If we want to play that card, he's the American.
that's how deep rooted. that is.
Exactly.
That's how deep rooted that is.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
so all
like-
of a sudden
it's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you saw all of a sudden everyone draping white people draping themselves in a foreign flag.
Not even
who-
realizing.
I saw it. I couldn't believe it,
Dude,
but I saw
who were
it.
yelling and throwing things and
Yeah.
booing during the national anthem when they saw black people kneeling during
Oh,
the
yeah.
national anthem in
Yes.
protest of police violence.
It's
Oh,
that
shit.
deep.
The
though.
same
so
people.
it's like, wow,
It's that
man,
deep.
This
The
is, this is
same
so
The
deep.
same.
You know, it was
people.
funny. There's a
guys, it's weird, man. It doesn't make logical. It's real. Like Sean said, it's the emotional tide that is around a lot of this is the most. I mean, at times sickening,
Yeah,
disturbing,
I've been
But
weird.
telling.
like just
Very
very
telling.
telling. Yes,
but telling.
and
That's
to Terry's
it.
point about sports, like it is weird, man.
Yeah.
Like
Well, that's the
Alabama
one common
football.
bond, in
Yeah.
general.
Alabama football.
That was crazy.
Jalen Hurts, black quarterback for Alabama, great athlete,
Yeah.
awesome
Yeah.
player, has one bad game. Alabama's 11-1. They're still going to the Final Four. They lose to Auburn, and there's Alabama fans saying racial slurs about their own black quarterback. Like,
Yeah,
It's the sports,
modern day.
Look, let's not act like Super Bowl 50 when it was Peyton Manning versus Cam Newton.
oh,
Oh man,
There wasn't a clear line drawn on who people were rooting for.
Yeah.
I remember I was working for a certain cable company. Like I said, I'm not giving anybody props.
We ain't gonna do that. We ain't gonna do that.
And I remember, just in the random when you're talking to a customer, he's from North Carolina.
Yeah.
And he's saying, there's just something about Cam Newton, I don't like.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I knew exactly what he was saying when he said that.
Yeah.
Here's the guy who's representing his team.
Yeah.
And he's saying, while we're talking Super Bowl week,
Yeah.
there's just something about Cam Newton I don't like.
Yeah.
Dude, I've literally overheard white sports fans before say, team's looking all right, which we just, we need to get a white quarterback. I'm just like,
What?
Like they really didn't like him dabbing.
Yeah.
Whenever he scored or whatnot.
Like
but it's cool for Aaron Rodgers to
discount double.
that
check.
is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Look, Rob
No, but-
Gronkowski put somebody into the concussion protocol this week. And, there are still people who are like, oh, well, it's just Gronk being Gronk.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can
He
you
was
imagine
being held.
Look,
the whole time, so that justifies him doing the top of the off the top turnbuckle elbow from,
and putting on into
Macho
somebody's
Man Randy
head.
Savage.
Like,
On
and the
somebody's
NFL
head.
claims it cares so much about player safety, and like you gave somebody one game for putting someone into the concussion protocol.
He got to stay in the game, by the way.
Yes.
And the thing is, he wasn't kicked out of the game. And the thing is, you got the same amount of games as the person you hit is going to be out because they're in the concussion protocol.
Can you imagine if Cam Newton went off on his offensive coordinator to the level that Brady did with what's my man's name, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots?
I don't know.
Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
So he snaps on dude on the they get into an argument or whatever. He missed a pass, and I'm like, Cam would be such a bad influence. He's such a bad guy. This is the reason why we're losing
over the weekend.
blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, like the double standards, the narratives.
Just a leader.
Yeah,
He's just a leader.
He's just
Like,
a
that's
fiery
guy,
leader.
He's passionate.
He's just a fiery leader.
He's so passionate
Oh, yeah.
about the game.
So I know we can continue to go on and on. I'm going to try to cut it off because shout out to the Mike Show is continuing to slide here.
Side note.
Plus, I got a show to go to.
He has a show to
20 minutes.
perform tonight. Shout out to Hinks Jones. Grits, we see you.
Joyner Lucas did have a second song he put out, I think,
Yeah,
today.
He responded.
Yesterday?
He did a remix to Gucci Gang.
Yeah.
Little Pump,
well,
right?
he killed
He
that.
snapped.
It's interesting.
Yeah, he went
no
off on
problem
Lil
with that
Pump.
song because
If I'm not mistaken, we will have you next week, correct?
yes,
Yeah,
I'll be here
Maybe
next
maybe
week.
we can jump into that remix as well.
Okay.
Next week and even
Talk about some more.
talk about what we're talking about now. Maybe a part 2. Don't give me the bell because this is a legit part 2 this
Okay,
time.
is it? Actually, it is.
That's
Okay,
what I'm saying.
all right,
I
there
don't
we
get the
go.
bell on
Yeah.
this one.
I won't be able to. Maybe I'll.
Skype in.
Yeah,
I'll
Skype in.
I'll Skype.
That's
in.
messy.
Yeah.
Every time we have
Hey,
a part 2,
Dude, do you think
Spoolz, somebody's
I
not
will
here.
show for
We
this
can
part.
figure out if we can.
Oh,
figure
I
out-
have Skype on my laptop.
we can
put it
figure
on
out-
the screen, right?
It'd be dope if we could figure out how to put him
Yeah.
on the screen.
Well, we'll figure it
we'll
out.
see what we can
We'll
do.
figure it out. Episode 58. Appreciate you, Jay Moore, coming through. Love, brother, as always.
Appreciate y'all.
Longevity. DJ Jay Diff. DJ Spoolz. I am Major 7. Don't forget, bringingdowntheband.com. Join our Patreon site as well. Shout out to 𝐀𝐿man Dental, Printfinity.
No bad ideas.
No bad ideas.
NewOldHeads.com.
Yes, sir. And we will see you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.